I'd like to see a farm that's sustainable, pays its way, and is mitigating against climate change.
You do feel a great responsibility for your area of land if you're a farmer, and you just feel the need to try to reverse some of the wrongs of the past.
Hannah and I certainly see ourselves as a custodian on Bucalong, so we'd like to think that we'll hand over something that's just progressively better and better in terms of its condition and its landscape.
Catchment Action New South Wales is a funding source that allows us to undertake project works. Helping landholders in some ways, but also there to advise landholders on anything relating to natural resource management. At the moment we're running small grant incentive schemes to help landholders from anything to riverbank protection to erosion gully works, weed control, which is also open to community groups, environmental groups.
The process starts with local land services putting out an expression of interest. We go out, look at what the landholders are wanting to do, how it could fit into our program, how it fits into their longer term management plans, and how we can assist, help fence off that creek line, fence off an eroded gully, get some revegetation back in the land, make that fit into their longer term plan.
Well, the issue was that there's been a change of land use here from grazing sheep and cattle to a more intensive farming operation without a leasee. Now the tenant advised us that they'll be using big mobs and the sheep work the gullies very hard. Unfortunately the Southeast LLS had some funds for some riparian gully work and we've spent all the money on fences. And the reason for us doing this is because we're worried about the degradation of the gullies. We are incorporating a trial of the 1,000 trees and shrubs we're putting up. 100 are being incorporated with a trial of biochar. I think we put in about 4K of fencing actually, and that would involve about 3 or 4 hectares. And the regrowth of grass in there and native species that are coming back is just incredible. Local land services have been a fantastic help to us with, we got the funding and constant support coming down, having a look and see how we're doing and encouragement, which is really nice.
So we received funding under Catchment Action New South Wales to do a range of fencing projects. The Catchment Action New South Wales funding allowed us to complete that process and completely fence off riparian zones, and we're now working with them now and planting those down to various shrubs and trees to I guess improve the ecology along those areas. Very much employ the adage, you can't be green if you're in the red. So first and foremost, we are a commercial grazing business. Fortunately, under the likes of the Catchment Action New South Wales program, we've found opportunities to do landscape repair work, which is actually helping us from a management perspective as well. It's been really easy to work with the local LLS coordinators. They've basically given us some ideas about things we can do, but they've very much let us sit in the driving seat. That's allowed us to sort of step back from stipulated planting windows and make sure that what we're doing is actually most practical for what's happening on the ground.
If you think about what could happen if you don't, it'll just get worse. So it is a balance, but it's important, and so you just make the time and you make the room to be able to do it.
But I think we're also absolutely aware of where we fit in the broader catchment. The Bucalong Creek is a tributary of the Bombala River, which is a tributary of the Snowy River, so we're acutely aware that what we do at the very head of this catchment absolutely has implications for what happens in the likes of the Snowy River.
The Catchment Action funding is allowing us to value add to prior investment. For example, the Snowy River Rehabilitation Project, a long-running project with fantastic outcomes for riverfront landholders, but for the greater good of the environment and this iconic river. It's allowed us to branch into some of the tributary issues that we've had with blackberry, weeds like broom, gorse, willow. Important, it's ongoing and it continues.
I think that this project has come along at the absolute perfect time for us, because it's a public-private partnership, and in implementing environmental works has been a long-held dream.
We have a very close bond, or particularly my wife's family have a very close attachment to this land, and to ruin it would be, from a farming point of view, would be a disaster in our eyes.
I'd like if we could look back and have a real sense of satisfaction of what we've done. Certainly like to think that we get to a landscape that's stable and one that has a good balance of commercially productive paddocks, but also a very strong ecology as well.
So we're just a catalyst, I think. We're the catalyst. We sow the seed, and then hopefully they'll take it on further. At least let them know that, we can help. Yeah, and we have a willingness to help.